I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I've been serving customers every day, all week. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. Man, I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. Yo, I need the happy hour.
Welcome to the happy hour. Wait, on this episode, I have to introduce our fabulous writer here in New York City, LGBT writer, and does a lot of writing for RuPaul's Drag Race. Give it up for Mr. Mark Singer. Glad to have you here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
You're no problem. So, something happened last night.
Why'd you do the Barry White? No problem.
Oh, you know, that's my masculine.
I love it.
No. But seriously, guys, you know, my friend met this guy, and he was bringing up all these issues, and he wasn't sure about it, but we don't really speak about it unless we're with our close friends, but I want to speak to you about it with you. Should HIV status be a consideration when you start to date someone? You know, because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I wouldn't do that, but does it matter this day and age?
Look.
Okay.
Look, I am approaching 40, and so I've been dating 20 plus years.
20 guys?
And he's
20, I've been dating guys. I've been dating guys for 20 years. And trust me, I've dated some of the finest guys and girls here and there. For me going forward, being in a relationship and settling down with somebody, and that's what I want right now in life. I want something more, and something more, like a more meaningful connection, like something more deeper than like a physical connection. So if that person has HIV, you know, and I feel like it was something tying us together that was bigger than like physical connection, there was like a purpose or a bigger meaning, you know, between the meaning that was bigger than both of us put together. Or even individually.
So your answer is yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Well, I mean, my answer, I'm inside a 13-year relationship with my man, Anthony.
Okay.
But what I want to point out is that I just think as long as the person that I might be interested in, and if they're sending themselves as who and all that they are, and it is inclusive of that status, I think I would date a person like that, if it rounded out to that it's someone that I enjoyed spending my time with and all that looks like, I was attracted to, and all the things that you might want to dot your I's and cross your T's on to make sure everything is safe. But I just don't think it's the kind of thing you spring on somebody after you've maybe been dating, you know, a month or two. Or
no,
so,
I think that's a transparency issue right there. You know, I think when the question is, should it be a factor? Obviously, that's a very individual decision.
Yes.
But it kind of plays on both sides of the fence here, because you're talking about maybe a negative person who is wanting to make sure that they are consistently protected and that they understand all the the rules in terms of PrEP and virus too. Anyway.
Before we get into the PrEP conversation, though, would you date someone that? Or, you know, does HIV status matter to you?
Well, being that I am very single, it would not matter to me. Only because if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have said yes.
Why?
But now, as what we've actually done here, when we bring topics to light to talk about them, I've asked myself the same question, like, what is it to be positive, you know? What is it the person goes through? Because it's not only something that's physical, but it's something that's mental, you know? So at the end of the day, yes.
So you're saying everything about someone else, but I'm asking you, you're saying you would risk your health for love?
I wouldn't say risking my health.
I wouldn't say risking my health.
It's not a risk?
But I don't think that HIV is the big risk to your health these days. You know, I think we've kind of gotten into a safe zone in that hurdle. But it's not also the only STD you can contract if we're talking about STD.
Behavior is the risk. And so I think if you choose responsibly inside your scenario, it doesn't matter what a person is. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. But I know that other people have more concerns about that.
What's your point about?
What about our guest?
Hold on, Mr. Mark, what you got to say about here?
Oh, well, I mean, I've been in a 6-year open relationship, and a lot of the sexual partners that we have are HIV positive because you can be positive and be on medication or have a proper regimen that makes it safe, just like any other STD, which might not be as safe to have, if you're having another STD that you can transmit. So I think everyone's got baggage. If you're going to be in a relationship, you have to be mature enough to know, okay, I love this person, I care enough to take the proper steps to deal with it, or I'm not mature enough to be in the relationship.
Since you have an open relationship and a lot of your partners have been HIV positive, how do you find out that information? How do you have the conversation with the people that you bring into your relationship?
I think you should discuss those things with anyone up front. It's your body, it's someone else's body. You should be upfront about what your experience is and who you are, what you're bringing to the table.
Now, another thing is, I don't want me to get so deep about it.
Well, look, I'm like, I want to talk about the open relationship.
But seriously, I want to get so deep about it because now we're talking about status.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of times in our community when we start talking about what's your status or if you're clean, if you have any diseases and whatnot, does that mean it's okay then to have unprotected sex? Y'all don't get quiet now.
That's question. That is hard. That's not for me.
Oh, y'all ain't got no answers?
No, I think that's a individual risk tolerance thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you want to throw those dice, if you want to make that gamble, then knock yourself out. As long as it's with full consent of the other party, you both know what's going on with each other. You got to do you.
But aren't we heavy-handed on HIV as a concern without all the other things that people are
There's so many
contracting?
other things you can get out there.
But
And what about bad credit?
Well, bad credit.
People are contracting bad credit.
Yeah.
Not bad credit.
No.
Don't bring that over here, okay? I don't want that disease. But let's move on, guys. So even though we're talking about partners when you're dating, would you feel uncomfortable about bringing the opposite sex to your home, to your family? Because we all come from different backgrounds.
Opposite sex or race?
Excuse me, opposite.
Opposite sex would make them say,
What is going on? What is going on?
well, throw me a party.
A party.
My bad. I meant the opposite race. Because for me, honestly, it's so funny for me being from the South. I think my family will have something to say a little bit, to be honest. I'm keeping it real. My family will have something to say. It's already bad enough to me being gay, bringing home a man.
Yeah.
And then me bringing home, let's say, a white man. I think my family will, they won't say nothing out loud, but they'll just be like, oh, okay, that's your friend.
Your friend.
With that.
So what y'all think? What y'all families?
Me being from the South, I think just getting over the gay hurdle and bringing a guy home, my family would be okay bringing somebody of the opposite race. So I don't think
Really?
that would be a problem at all. No.
Have you ever done it?
Does Dominican count?
No. You look Dominican.
No, it doesn't. They got African in the room. I can see all of that in the room, don't we?
How about you, Patrick?
I don't, I'm from the Bible Belt, Savannah, Georgia, so my people weren't happy about me being gay, let's just call it. I have family members who said they prefer a crackhead family member to a gay family member.
Wow.
They got both because that particular family member is a crackhead, but
Oh
that's not
my
the point. That's not the point. But the point is that, race is a thing, and coming from the South, segregation in my lifetime would have a cross be burned in my front yard. In my lifetime, the little boy across the street said, I think you better go home. It's 4 o'clock. My dad doesn't take too kindly to be playing with niggers. So I know in my lifetime what that looks like. So to me, it's like extra baggage to make the family suffer. But because I've been in a relationship with an African-American man for 13 years, I do joke with him sometimes because I have a lot of friends who are in interracial relationships, and they do seem to last. And I used to sort of put them on a pedestal as lasting longer than black on black, but then came me and Anthony.
Yeah, and I come from parents very bigoted. We grew up that way. We lived in it was a completely homogenous WASPs and Jews kind of town that I grew up in.
Where are you from?
I don't mention that name.
Well, I mean, can you give us
I don't want to promote
Can
them.
you give a state or an area?
North of here, Connecticut.
Okay.
Connecticut, the northern part.
Gotcha.
So, Yeah, so that was a hurdle, and I thought I was over that hurdle. You know, life goes on, and many years later, I wound up having, you know, my son's mother is African American, and I remember this particularly aggravating conversation with my mother, saying, "Why are you limiting yourself?" You know, and I told her she had a problem, and she refused to embrace the fact that she was a bigot. And I said, Mom, we're having you have a problem, because if all I was dating was blondes, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yeah. And that was finally, I felt like that was the final, gotcha moment with her. Not that that was the goal. It did, but it was particularly sad that it happened like after the birth of my son, who she adores, right? But the fact that she was still holding on to that stigma when now she's got flesh and blood, baby boy in her lap, that was really hurtful. The gay transition was a little smoother.
Well, we get to that in a second. How about you, Jay?
Well, I've been very lucky, thank God. I mean, it's no secret that I like my men of color. It's no secret.
There's no secret?
No, there's no secret at all.
Okay.
And both my parents were actually very. I remember when I first came out to my mother, her first question was, "Who are you dating?"
I'm sorry. What color? I'm sorry.
Oh, he was Dominican.
Yes.
But her first thing was, who are you dating? My dad cried for 2 weeks because that's a different story. But when I was a time that I would come home from school and my boyfriend at the time was there because my dad invited him over to dinner. And I didn't even know it was for dinner that night yet. And yet this one's there eating. So again, I've been very lucky in that aspect.
Well, let's change gears for a minute, guys. So you see everything that's going on in the news lately. For the past year now, we've seen scandals that happen with R. Kelly. We've seen scandals happen with Harvey Weinstein. For all these scandals that have been in the headlines, people like Kevin Hart, they tweeted and said things like 10 years ago, okay? So does something that we've done in our past, does it carry on with us for our future, or diminishes our work, a body of work that we put out to the public? Because everything now is like, oh, he said the F-bomb out in public. But he's still a talented actor, correct? He still did a great body of work, you know what I mean? So why aren't we letting that go? Can we not grow?
Well, these are sensitive times, and I think the kinds of things that are coming out have been long delayed in coming out. And so the way in which they are coming out, like R. Kelly, we're left to reconcile. We're left to look at those six episodes of that documentary series, 6 hours of that, and we're left to be reminded of, on some level, how as consumers, we've been complicit. So there was this piece of America that continued to turn its head at actions like that, alleged actions like that. So for me, it's case by case. I think if, in the case of Kevin Hart, he wanted to do the Oscars and wanted to make sure that the LGBTQIA community heard him, he should have apologized again. And not because he needed to do it for the Oscars or anything, but because apparently it wasn't heard. It wasn't heard at large. When you're being invited to be on an international stage like the Oscars, you just might need to apologize one more time to make sure that it's heard.
He said it once, okay? He
But
said
we
it
didn't know.
twice, he said it 3 times. You know what, at the end of the day,
But can we talk about what he said?
Listen, I don't care what he said. I know what he said, but the thing is, I already apologized 5 times to people.
When?
It's like,
I didn't hear his apology.
Google it.
But that's my point.
Google it.
If I have to Google it, that's a problem. When you're getting ready to get on a global stage that is the Oscars, and people are asking the question.
There was an implied apology in his explanation, I thought, and I thought he was really eloquent about that. Just sort of the fact that he said people change. Where he's from is one thing, and then where he is now and his exposure to a much broader community in the world, because he's on fire right now, has changed him over the course of 10 years. So I personally, I give him a pass.
It's
and he did apologize.
It's not even about a pass. It's about when is enough is enough. I'm not going to, me personally, I'm not the same Kendrell I was 10 years ago. Okay?
Right.
I've done some crazy things in my past.
That's another episode.
Documentary.
That's right.
No, but seriously, it's like, I'm not going to keep saying, okay, I'm sorry for doing this, I'm sorry for doing this, I'm sorry for doing this, because at the end of the day, it's like either you with me or you don't. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't with me, then we just probably shouldn't be together.
Well,
And that's
I
it.
do with you. I don't. With
Yeah. Well,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, I'm
that's
with
all.
you. I'm with you. Like, I've done things and said things in the past that would make me want to run away from myself, my past self. So I think I wish we could have used the Kevin Hart situation as an opportunity to show that people can change over time. Like, Kevin Hart has changed his mindset and his viewpoints on the LGBT community. My mom has changed her viewpoints on the community through experience with me.
Right,
so
right.
I wish we could have used that and saying, hey, people can change. It's okay for people to evolve over time. Don't hold them to what they did
And I don't
in the
think you
past.
wanted to have
Look
that-
at
So
the
what you
person
think?
right now.
Y'all talking so much and forgot about Mr. Mark. What you think back here? Can people change or not?
I think people can. I think that if
Do you think Kevin Hart should have apologized again?
I do because
done.
How many times do you have to apologize?
I think what he said and did, if there are gay people who are being killed in this country and in the world, and what you said helps to perpetuate that, and people feel the ripples of actual physical violence, and then you want to step on a stage that is made up mostly of people who are in the LGBTQI community,
And
then
the
you need to.
sentiment was, if my son is gay, I will kill
I know.
him.
Right.
Listen.
Something crazy.
I hear what y'all saying, but I think sometimes the LGBT community are hypocrites, because you know how many times y'all want to talk about you have your girlfriends and even with each other, you know how many times I say, hey bitch, hey this, you know what I'm saying? They use that all the time.
The names.
Yes.
The names. But
Yes.
but violence is another nuance.
That's what I'm
to
saying.
me.
That to you, but
Yeah.
you can't pick and choose. That's like you saying which sin is the right sin, and you know that's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
trying to nitpick which is right and what's wrong. So if that's wrong, all of it should be wrong.
Sounds
Go
like
ahead.
Kendrell is saying we should free Bill Cosby.
No.
Based on that sentiment.
No. Don't put
But
that
then what
on
are
me.
you saying?
What I'm saying
told me to
is
pass you
I'm
this.
allowing people to grow. I feel like at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
You know, I cut you, you bleed the same blood I bleed. Red. I hope.
No, my blood is gold. My blood is gold. Thank you. But yes.
No, but you know, I'm just saying, allow people to grow, because you can't just keep harping people on their past.
Fair enough.
You know?
Yeah.
So
People,
anyway,
yes, Kevin Hart, no. I'm sorry, that's just,
I get it. But Mark, I'm sorry, I thought you were on my side, brother. You know what I mean? But guys, that's it right now for the happy hour. We ran out of time.
Are you kidding?
Yes,
It's
it was
over?
that quick. I know.
goes by.
I just want to say thank you, Mark Singer, for joining us
Thank you,
today.
Mark.
I just want to say thank you so much to our sponsors. Thank you, Lambda Vodka. Thank you to Exist in Melville's and Harlem. Just remember to keep the cocktails flowing and the conversations going. See you again. Thank you for joining us on the Happy Hour.
I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I've been serving customers every day, all week. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. Man, I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy